because, as I have pointed out many times, wherever the left goes, they bring the third world with them. And today's Democratic Party, so-called, is the third world. And they are delivering the third world to the United States of America. They're not on our side. Now, that guy sounds like an illegal alien, doesn't he? And I was saying to Michael Piercy this morning, probably 6 years ago, he wouldn't have sounded like an illegal alien. But because Joe Biden and the Democrats opened up our borders for nearly half a decade and waved in maybe 12 million illegal alien gang members and child rapists, now everybody that sounds like that sounds like a filthy, rotten gang member, human trafficking, illegal alien, like Anthony Weiner type. So Anthony Weiner, he was on the internet with the underage girl, doing all his winky stuff. That's amazing stuff. And that is your Democrat Party today, because they're not on our side. Speaking of which, the Rachel Morin was a mother of 5 living in Maryland, a big happy family living happily with her husband and her 5 children. Everybody loved each other. She went out for her exercise walk, a speed walk, joggy thing in the morning near her beautiful house in Maryland, when an illegal alien criminal beat her, raped her, and murdered her. And the trial begins today. And now the family is dragged through this because of the Democrat Party and the things that they're fond of. And then I guess we'll spend millions of dollars putting the illegal alien criminal in prison for years and years and years to try to keep him from doing the same thing to anyone else. And all of this goes right to the front door of the Democratic Party in the United States of America, from Joe Biden and Kamala Harris on down, from Barack Obama, who told us years ago that we all better learn to speak Spanish. Remember that? And when he was elected, the rise of the oceans began to slow. Not that he's got an ego or anything like that, but emotions run high as Rachel Morin's family set to face man charged in her killing at trial. And that is happening today. In the year and a half since Rachel Morin was killed near a wooded trail in Bel Air, Maryland, her 5 children have marked many milestones. They've packed up their things from their mother's rented home. Some have switched schools. Some have lost teeth. The eldest became a mother herself. And through all the changes, the children, who range in age from 9 to 19, have been steeped in grief. Now they've got to go into court, you see, because, the kids are having a really rough time. And the father of Morin's oldest child said in frequent contact with the 4 younger siblings. The trial begins, and now they got to be dragged through the trial. Victor Martinez Hernandez, Morin's family, hopes that the trial of the man accused in her killing, whose name is Victor Martinez Hernandez, will bring at least some closure. Closure is a myth to this painful period. 2 of her children are expected to testify in the case. Now, Martinez Hernandez, 24 years old, was arrested in the summer at a bar in Tulsa, Oklahoma, after raping and murdering her in Maryland, not connected states. Now is charged in Hartford County Circuit Court. Hopefully there won't be any Obama appointees there. Charged with first and second degree murder, first and second degree rape, third degree sex offense, and kidnapping. Jury selection is set for Tuesday, but they start arranging the chairs today. Prosecutors are seeking life in prison without the possibility of parole for Martinez Hernandez, who's been held without bail since he was extradited to Maryland last summer. Democrats usually let him out on $500 bond, and I think they put up the money themselves. Martinez Hernandez attorneys, assistant public defenders Marcus Jenkins, Sawyer Hicks, Tara LaCampia, and how many lawyers does he get? I got no idea, I was reading about something over the weekend. An anarchist that tried to assassinate Franklin Delano Roosevelt and he missed Franklin Delano Roosevelt, but he did assassinate, shoot, and kill the mayor of Chicago at the time, Mayor Cermak. And he was arrested, and it was a matter of days later they put him to death. They gave him the death. It's like, hey, you're guilty as hell, and it's a speedy trial because, you gotta. That's part of our code too. Speedy trial. They gave him a speedy trial, and he was convicted, and within days he had been executed in Old Sparky, the electric chair in Florida. It worked real good. It sure did. So, and the lawyers are like, well, there are many unanswered questions in the case. Yeah, we should turn you over to Tren de Aragua, you guys. So he's an illegal alien. He's a gang member, and the Democrats have done everything they can to protect the murderers because, they're not on our side. Boy, are they not on our side. So that trial begins. Now the family has to be dragged through all of that. There are new polls out. CBS News very disappointed by their new polls because turns out the American people are overwhelmingly in favor of deporting illegal aliens because so damn many of them are wild-eyed criminals who are here to do horrible, terrible things. And the Democrats, I think, applaud that, right? Because keep in mind, the problem is not our guns, which they want to strip away from us, but their sons. Stop raising criminals, then you won't have to worry about guns. How about that? But the people at CBS News with a big poll over the weekend, Trump administration's program to deport immigrants illegally in the U.S., 58%, 58% of us in the CBS News poll approve of President Trump's and the Trump administration's program to deport illegal immigrants. And you don't even have to add, they're also serial killers and rapists and stuff. Just say they're in the country illegally. And the Democrats swung the doors open, rang the dinner bell, started giving away the store. And the American people, even a lot of dim-witted Democrats who are busy firebombing everything, man, oh man, they about 58% to 42% who disapprove. And they should all be denied the right to vote, shouldn't they? The 42%, what, illegal aliens? No, keep them here. That's maybe they pulled these Obama judges or something then, because they're in favor of more illegal alien criminals. They are some. Now, I made passing mention of this, but in New Mexico, speaking of Democrats, New Mexico Republican Party headquarters set on fire, graffitied, quote, ICE equals KKK. See, like the guy who posted the video that you should shoot ICE people. He's a Democrat, a perfectly mainstream. The Democrats might run him for Congress because they like the cut of his jib. But here's the firebombed Republican Party headquarters in the state of New Mexico. The headquarters of the Republican Party of New Mexico was set on fire on Sunday. They should have been at church, but they were firebombing political headquarters instead. And they spray painted ICE in all big capital letters, equals, the equals sign. They love equality. KKK, which was created by the Democratic Party after their civil war against civilization. Spray painting ICE equals KKK on the building in what the Republican Party called a deliberate act of arson. Didn't have to go out on any limbs there, did you? Fire officials in Albuquerque, the largest city in Democrat-controlled New Mexico, were called to the blaze around 6 a.m. on Sunday morning. Definitely not going to church. And they put out the fire, of course, because that's what they do. They're firefighters. The Democrat Party, they're fire starters. They're like a Stephen King movie at this point. I'm telling you. And we are at 888-630-9625. I'm telling you. Yeah, Robbie Starbuck on Twitter over the weekend got my attention with a good observation, a good quote that I want to share with you coming up.
Instead of worrying about whether immigrants can learn English, they'll learn English. You need to make sure your child can speak Spanish.
You're listening to The Chris Platt Show. News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
WMAL traffic from the Hadid Carpet Cleaning Traffic Center. Heads up going 66 westbound. The crash 123 blocks the left half of the roadway. That means the express lanes are blocked, and that far left lane of the main line is closed as well. JM right after you come off the Beltway. Eastbound side, you can see it. It looks like we have the left lane blocked as well with response. Maryland 95 northbound. The crash before Route 32, giving us late delays just north of 198, leaving Laurel. Now from GarageDoorRepair.com, the WMAL Stormwatch 7 forecast.
Scattered showers and thunderstorms this afternoon. Breezy with a high of 82. Showers and thunderstorms end late, low 44.
Making sense of your world on the go. Stream your favorite shows, get the day's top headlines, and access our podcast archives, all with the new WMAL app.
This is for you.
Get the WMAL app on Google Play or the Apple App Store and stay connected.
This is Women's Work with Nicole Khalil. I wish you health, physical, mental, emotional, financial, social, and most definitely spiritual. Redefining what it means to be doing women's work.
I would rather have temporary pain of discomfort than the avoidable pain of regret.
But hear me when I say this. Believe in something. Believe in yourself. That, more than anything, is absolutely woman's work. This is Women's Work from Believe. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps stand ready to defend the American way of life. The few, the proud, the Marines.
I was choosing alcohol over my family. That's when I made the call. Now I'm finding better ways to cope.
Mental health care works when you make the call. Visit mentalhealthcareworks.org. A message from the American Psychiatric Association Foundation.
The Sean Ryan Show presents Peak Points. Get timeless inspiration from the very best of The Sean Ryan Show.
September 11th happens. What is the first thing that went through your head? September 12th, I'm going back in the military.
Talk about being recruited by the cartel. How do you cope? Learning how to find a new home.
One of the most tragic events in American firefighter history. You know what comes after. You have this beautiful life. You have these horrible experiences, yes, but you can do something with them for the greater good.
The Sean Ryan Show Peak Points. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Making sense of the media.
The news media is attacking them because this is what happens when you're a Republican.
Chris Plant, weekdays 9 to noon.
Yeah, our news media, really.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
Why did I wait so long to see a retina specialist?
Retinal disease can steal your eyesight, but it doesn't have to. Patients who seek care from a retina specialist have the best chance of preventing vision loss due to age-related macular degeneration or diabetic retinopathy. AMD symptoms to look out for are distortion or warping of straight lines, as well as blurred or loss of central vision. Patients with diabetic retinopathy should seek treatment if they notice the appearance of spots or floaters or blurred and distorted vision. Visit seeforalifetime.org.
How's it going?
I'm having a stroke.
Are you going to shake my hand?
I'm having a stroke.
Wow, you're not even moving your arm.
I'm having a stroke. When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear. Look for FAST, F, face drooping, A, arm weakness, S, speech difficulty, T, time to call 911 immediately. Know the sudden signs. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
For a local news source you can trust, visit WMAL.com.
Thank God for that.
Get the day's top stories. Stream your favorite WMAL shows. Access our podcast archives and more. WMAL.com. Making sense of your world online.
Green light. Hey girl, school zone. I'm getting hungry. Car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection clear. Yeah, street. Pizza sounds good. Ballin Street? Girlin Street!
It's hard to concentrate on two things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Don't miss the U.S. women's national team face-off against Brazil in the first ever professional women's sporting event at SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles. Tune in live on Westwood One Sports, Saturday, April 5th at 2 p.m. Pacific. For more information and tickets, go to ussoccer.com.
Illuminating the issues.
There's a whole lot missing here in this story, isn't there?
Every day.
Why are we the only ones reporting this?
News Talk 105.9. Making sense of the news.
Every time I feel my baby kick,
I sing. You don't understand. I never sing. I'm not good at singing. I'm the only person I know who's been booed off a karaoke stage. But that was before I was pregnant. Today, I'm a singer with a captive audience of one. She doesn't boo me. She never will.
We know how it feels. We're the March of Dimes. Find out how we can help you have a healthier baby at marchofdimesbaby.org.
WMAL, more than just politics, because laughter is the best medicine. Download the WMAL app to stream us for free.
I have at least one friend who still calls it the War of Northern Aggression. Still calls it the War of... Good Southerner. Still calls it the War of Northern Aggression. I kind of admire it, actually. I'm a Yankee all the way myself. That Yankees baseball game they were completely crazy. Lost track of the number of home runs, grand slam home run, like 20 run crazy. But that's not important. Now let's go back to the telephones, Michael. Let's go to Greg calling from Falls Church, Virginia. Gregory, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Good morning, Chris. How are you doing this morning?
I'm wonderful, Greg. What do you know? What do you say?
I was just, I live here in Falls Church. I think I might be the only Republican in the entire part of Northern Virginia. It's really sad. But one of my closest friends, we've been friends for 12, 15 years. We had lunch on Sunday, and he showed up, and he was really, distant and seemed angry. And I said, "Are you upset about something?" And he's like, "I don't think we can be friends anymore." And I'm like, "Why? What's happened?" And he's like, "You voted for Trump, and because of him, my 401k is down $70,000." And I'm like, "So we can't be friends because I voted out of 70 million people who voted. I voted for Trump, so we can't be friends anymore." I said, "I guess we were never friends in the first place. When Joe Biden was president and he had dementia, I didn't end your friendship because you voted for that piece of crap." But anyway, so it's really sad. And all the listeners who are Democrats out there, if you drop your friends because they voted for Trump, then you weren't much of a friend in the first place.
Well, and this just happened yesterday, right, Greg?
Yes.
Yeah, I got to tell you, I can't tell you how many times I've heard this from people just in the last couple of months. How many times I've heard, a friend of 25 years, emailed me, texted me, we're no longer friends. And then,
WMAL-FM, Woodbridge, Washington, a Cumulus media station. Making sense of the news. News Talk 105.9. News now.
WMAL News at 10. Good morning. I'm John Matthews. New this hour, Montgomery County fire crews fought a pair of blazes in commercial buildings overnight. The building near the county air park suffered $75,000 damage in a fire involving lithium-ion batteries that required hazmat crews to help bring under control. Those batteries not only capable of generating intense heat, they also emit toxic gases that are a danger for anyone nearby. Fire crews also called by automatic alarm to the Lottie Plaza supermarket in Rockville, where they found a small fire that activated sprinklers throughout the store. The fire was put out quickly, but the store closed due to water and exposure damage. No one hurt in either fire. Is it possible that Wes Moore will make a run for the White House in 2028? That question put to the Maryland governor on CNN Sunday.
I'm really proud of what Maryland is doing, and I'm focused on making sure we keep that progress going.
And it certainly sounds like something that would fit on a national platform campaign bumper sticker. Thank you so much, Governor. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Dale.
That was Moore's third national TV interview in as many weeks. After passage in the Maryland House last week, it's now the state Senate's turn for tax hikes and spending cuts.
What is very clear and what is the most important to note about this budget is that it is fiscally sound.
Senate President Bill Ferguson believes things are going in the correct direction as debate continues today.
We know we have a few differences that will get worked out in conference.
Differences including questions on a supposed pro-business stance from Governor Wes Moore, yet Republican delegate Mark Fisher notes.
He wants to raise capital gains taxes. He wants to raise taxes on IT and data centers and quantum computing.
Part of the continuing work needs a focus on finding exactly where those taxes will apply. Scotland on WMAL and WMAL.com.
A dumpster fire. That's how the head of the Prince William Chamber of Commerce sees the impact of DOGE cuts on the small business economy.
There's so much chaos.
with how DOGE is making cuts. Prince William County Chamber of Commerce Chairman Martin Noe says small business owners
have tremendous amount of uncertainty. They want to be able to make good decisions for themselves and their families, but no one seems to know what's going to happen next.
because he says DOGE hasn't articulated a game plan.
And that uncertainty is just very damaging to our local economy, particularly because of its impact on small businesses.
He says a lot of small businesses are getting fewer customers and having contracts canceled because people have either already lost their jobs or fear they soon will. Heather Curtis on WMAL and WMAL.com.
Nothing like nice weather and cherry blossoms at peak bloom to bring out the crowds. Metro reported its second busiest Saturday ever and its busiest day overall in 6 years as the tidal basin packed with people and petals. Pink was one primary color of note, the other green.
The National Cherry Blossom Festival studies the economic impact of this season every year. And last year, their study showed that these beautiful trees and all the attractions that come with them brought in $202 million in visitor spending.
7 News' Liana Golden, checking your money. The Dow is down 110 points at this hour. The NASDAQ down 318. Up next, traffic and weather on WMAL.
Hi, I'm Jamie McMurray, professional race car driver here with cab driver Artie.
Professional cab driver.
Professional cab driver Artie. Drinking responsibly is knowing your limits. If you are over yours, ask Artie or someone like Artie to get you home safely. To learn more about drinking responsibly, go to beforeyoudrink.org.
So, you think I could take your number 26 Crown Royal race car for a spin?
Would you get out of there?
Be a champion. Drink responsibly. This message has been brought to you by the Century Council.
Every time I feel my baby kick, I sing. You don't understand. I never sing. I'm not good at singing. I'm the only person I know who's been booed off a karaoke stage. But that was before I was pregnant. Today, I'm a singer with a captive audience of one. She doesn't boo me. She never will.
We know how it feels. We're the March of Dimes. Find out how we can help you have a healthier baby at marchofdimesbaby.org.
My baby brother, a father. Come on, it's time for his nap. Whoa, he can't sleep on his stomach. Babies should always sleep on their backs in a safety-approved crib, and the sleep area should be clear of blankets, toys, and other loose or soft items. It reduces the risk of SIDS, sudden infant death syndrome.
Guess I need to start studying up on safe sleep for little man here. Being his favorite uncle comes with big responsibilities.
For more information, visit safetosleep.nichd.nih.gov. Sponsored by the Eunice Kennedy Shriver National Institute of Child Health and Human Development.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
Steve Hirshhorn in the Hadid Carpet Cleaning Traffic Center.
Westbound on Interstate 66 in the express lanes. All lanes are closed right now before 123 because of a 3-vehicle accident in the main lanes of westbound 66 at 123. Everything is now open, still very slow from Nutley Street. Eastbound express lanes on 66 at the scene of the same incident, 123. 2 left lanes are closed, causing delays from the Fairfax County Parkway over to 123. Now from GarageDoorRepair.com, the WMAL Stormwatch 7 forecast.
Showers and thunderstorms will develop. Some may be on the strong to severe side. Temperatures in the upper 70s to lower 80s. Storms will end later this evening with clearing skies overnight. Tomorrow, sunshine and cooler near 60. I'm 7 News meteorologist Steve Rudin, the First Alert Weather Center.
Right now it is 70 at Reagan National. I'm John Matthews on News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
Now on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app. Chris Plant.
This idea of a bootstrap. You know, this idea and this metaphor of a bootstrap started off as a joke because it's a physical impossibility to lift yourself up by a bootstrap, by your shoelaces. It's physically impossible. The whole thing is a joke.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, she cracked the code. She's on to it. That's it. The universe is her oyster or something like that. What a genius. What a genius she is. A very good Monday to you once again. And welcome. We remain at 888-630-9625. And I was reading this Robbie Starbuck on the Twitter, on X, with a fun item over the weekend. A conservative social media guru is Robbie Starbuck, and he wrote the Weather Underground. You know, they were the Weather Men, but then they decided as a terrorist group, robbing armored cars and shooting the police and funding the communist revolution. And then they decided that it was sexist to call it the Weather Men because some of them were not men. And back then, when they weren't men, they were women. Today, with the Democrat Party, you never know because it's like a crazy herd of cattle running in every direction at once. Robbie Starbuck wrote, the Weather Underground terror group has been reborn. We must not make the mistakes we made by the last time by giving light sentences or no sentences at all. These terrorists became thought leaders on the left because of it. We must be relentlessly punishing. No mercy can be shown. Now, what is Robbie Starbuck talking about here? He's talking about the fact that the Democrats firebombed the RNC headquarters in New Mexico over the weekend, that they're terrorizing Tesla owners and Tesla dealers, and they're firebombing and shooting up places with rifles, and then the Democrats say, it's their protected First Amendment rights. You know, they've got lots of First Amendment rights to exercise. Usually involves a lot of violence and possible firebombs and rifles because we're the left, we're Democrats. And Robbie Starbuck is right, of course, the Weather Underground. And let's look at William Ayers and Bernadine Dorn, who were terrorists, American terrorists, left-wing radical communists, anti-American, anti-capitalist, violent criminals. And instead of being sent to prison for 50 years, they were given tenure. They didn't get 10 years, they got tenure on major American campuses because they've been hotbeds of mental illness for decades now. And these are the universities that raised the violent rabble, genocidal, Jew-hating lunatics that honestly, and William Ayers and Bernadine Dorn. And then they raised the bastard children who other terrorists left on their doorstep who went on to become prosecutors and free the criminals and all that. But Robbie Starbuck is talking about the left. They, come on. You got a Bernie Sanders campaign volunteer who shot and nearly killed Congressman Steve Scalise on a baseball field with a Chinese combat rifle. He had wanted to kill the entire baseball team of Republican members of Congress. President Trump, that was a suicide attack. Yet another Democrat Party suicide attack, a murderous suicide attack, trying to kill the entire Republican baseball team practicing for the annual congressional baseball game. And crazy Ron DeSantis was there that day. He left before the shooting started, but just barely. And the Democrats, violent criminals out there, another suicide attack on President Trump in Butler, Pennsylvania. This weekend, they were attacking Tesla dealerships and firebombing the Republican Party headquarters in New Mexico. I don't think CNN's reported it yet because they don't really report the news. No, they don't. So we've got that going for us. And Robbie Starbuck is right. I'm with Robbie Starbuck. And the Democrats, in the meantime, the pragmatic and moral case to sell your Tesla. Sure. While CNN excitedly, over 200 Tesla takedown protests take place throughout U.S. on Global Day of Action against Elon Musk's role with Doge. There's one thing, they like to firebomb, they like shooting people, but one thing they really don't like is government efficiency. That infuriates them. And if the most successful people in the world gather to say, how can we do things better? The Democrats threaten to kill them because that's your Democrat Party. Now, the Mass Live out of Massachusetts, they had Tesla protests there over the weekend on their day of rage, their day of violent criminal rage, their day of fascist rage. And they call everybody else fascist while they're firebombing you and shooting you. Isn't that fascinating? And demanding that all the Jews leave campus and leave Israel. And they chant from the river to the sea because, in fact, we have some of their stupid chants from over the weekend. They hand out little cue cards like they do with Joe Biden, so they know their chants. But Mass Live, lefties, Tesla Takedown Day draws hundreds in Hadley. Hadley, that's a Hadley, Massachusetts. And this is pretty remarkable stuff, I got to say. International, it's an international, not just national, it's international. It's the International Tesla Takedown Day. Saw Western Massachusetts demonstrators gather several hundred, it's just amazing, behind a Pride convenience store. Is that a rainbow gay convenience store? Because they, how they do that. Pretty amazing people, these people. But they gathered at the Tesla supercharger station, at a Tesla supercharger station, and they're there to destroy it and burn it down and stuff because they're violent criminals, aren't they? Yes, they are. And this is where one of the guys, a protester, showed up in his Tesla because, he had a Tesla and now he's stuck with it. And he says that everywhere he goes, people spit on him and spit on his car and throw things at his car because liberals, as they like to self-describe, are violent and criminally insane. And pretty much obvious everywhere you look, firebombing the RNC headquarters and attacking, posting videos, calling on Democrats and illegal aliens to shoot every ICE agent they see. And I got to tell you, that he should be in cuffs before the sun goes down today. I must say. But this is classic out of Massachusetts because they're angry, they're filled with rage. And
stop calling me
one
your
of the
fucking
guys,
buddy.
and this one did make me laugh. One of the guys at the Tesla station said, I bought my Tesla in 2018 because I wanted to save the planet. And now everywhere I go, people are spitting on me and throwing things at my car and threatening me and calling me names. And all of that is fine because Democrats, right? And it's not even news. CNN doesn't report this because they're not a news organization. But the Democrats are so insane and so regularly violent that all of this has been made perfectly normal. Perfectly normal. You're a Democrat party. Yes, sir. Firebombing RNC headquarters, terrorizing Tesla drivers, Tesla dealerships, firebombing Teslas and Tesla dealerships, shooting up with rifles Teslas and Tesla dealerships, and the news media ignores it. I'm talking about, not some news media ignores it. Pretty much all of them completely ignore it because they too are the left. And what do they want? They want power. When do they want it? Now. You people, can I just say? Now, let's go to soundbite number one. Charlie Hurt of Fox News was out over the weekend with a camera. Asking people, and it looked like they didn't recognize him because they get their news from MSDNC and CNN, and they don't recognize anybody who's not on MSDNC and CNN, and that's why they're firebombing and shooting places and self-immolating and suicide attacks and attempted assassinations all over the place and all that stuff. But Charlie Hurt asking Democrats who are protesting against Tesla, which they loved about 2 minutes ago. And I loved the guy protesting in Massachusetts, just had a big sign he made himself, said, I hate Elon Musk. That's it. That's the whole sign. That's what the sign said. I hate Elon Musk. The Democrat Party is a hate cult, a violent criminal hate cult. I don't know how you can describe it any other way. And our second caller today in the last hour, Greg from Falls Church, Virginia, talking about yesterday, Sunday, having lunch, breakfast with his friend of 15 years. And his friend told him yesterday, I don't think we can be friends anymore because my 401k is down. Now, there are words to describe people like that. They're impolite words. But let's just say he's got a tiny, tiny little brain, Tardo. And isn't that amazing? Charlie Hurt asking people, what do you have against Elon Musk? Why do you hate Elon Musk so much?
What's wrong with Elon Musk? Well, first of all, he came here as an illegal alien, documented immigrants, first of all. Second of all, he's a fascist and Nazi salutes.
Right. Sure. First, but you guys love illegal aliens. What if he were only a child sex trafficker or fentanyl trafficker as an illegal alien, a gang member from Venezuela? You'd invite him into your daughter's bedroom and have him hide under the bed because you people are mentally ill. Wait, he's an illegal alien. Again, they love illegal aliens unless they're on our side. First of all, he's not an illegal alien, but he's imagining in his demented, mentally ill, crazed, insane, violent brain that Elon Musk is an illegal alien, and because he's on our side, he's against him. Now, if he were a criminal, rapist, murderer, gang member from a third world hellhole, then he would be very much in favor of him. But he's an illegal alien, and the Nazi salute, that is, the Democrats pulled a freeze frame of Elon Musk waving to a crowd. It was like a stadium full of people or something. And Elon Musk waved to the crowd, and the Democrats used a freeze frame like Nazis used to do and said, oh, look, he's doing a Hitler salute because he was waving with his right hand. That's pretty funny stuff. But he's an illegal alien. Mm-hmm. And the mental illness of these people is really something breathtaking. Now, there are two women from New York who are protesting against Elon Musk and against Tesla. And Charlie Hurt asked him, hey, what do you think of Elon Musk?
Do you think Elon Musk is a Nazi?
Yes, he's a fascist because he is blatantly trying to dismantle democracy in the U.S.
Well, I think that Elon Musk is showing us signs of being a Nazi.
Right. And then they sent a check to Planned Parenthood to harvest the organs of 40% of the unborn black population in America while chanting, get Jews off campus and from the river to the sea. No sense of irony. I think the only thing worse than a Nazi movement rising up in your country is a Nazi movement of incredibly stupid people. The only thing that can make Nazis worse is if they were so stupid that they're more dangerous this time around than they were the last time around. The one thing, the Nazis, my father had to go kill Nazis when he was in his 20s because it's what everybody was doing. And he wasn't much of a trend follower, but he went along with that one. And here they go because he's on our side.
I've been spending a lot of time thinking about it, and I think I'm at the point where I have to say, yes, he's a Nazi.
We're not protesting all electric vehicles. We're protesting Tesla, which is owned by a fascist man-child.
A fascist man-child. This is your Democrat. And then they firebombed, this and that in the Republican Party headquarters in New Mexico, and they wrote that ICE is what they spray painted when they burned the RNC headquarters in New Mexico, the statewide headquarters. They spray painted ICE equals Nazis because that makes sense. Your Democratic Party is a dangerous, criminal, mentally ill gang of miscreants. If you're related to any of them, don't talk to them anymore. Just kidding. You shouldn't come. You should try to help the poor, dim-witted little people. Isn't that amazing? This country was built on hard work and grit. And whether you're standing long hours every day, running errands, chasing the kids, just doing your part to keep the world turning on its axis, you shouldn't have to deal with fatigue and foot pain. And that's why G-Defy shoes, built with patented VersaShock technology. I wore mine yesterday. I hiked about 4 miles down in the mall. cherry blossoms and all that. The FTC has authorized G-Defy to tell all of us that these shoes can help relieve minor occasional pain associated with walking and running and prolonged periods of standing. G-Defy shoes help to absorb harmful shock, align your body, improve your biomechanics, and return energy with every step. My best girl and I went, honestly, hiking on the mall yesterday. Get 50% off your order of $120 or more right now by texting Chris, that's me, to 91888. Or head to Al Gore's Amazing Internet to gdefy.com and use the code Chris there to get 50% off. That's the code Chris at 91888 or on Al Gore's Amazing Internet. With G-Defy's 60-day risk-free trial, you've got nothing to lose. Message and data rates apply. Yeah, I know the Democrats. They've had an especially crazy weekend. More on them coming up.
There's only one Chris Plant. The Chris Plant Show.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
Hey, if you have ugly yellow toe fungus, you got to hear about the secret 2-minute trick that I found for my husband. It works from both the inside and the outside. Thousands of people are using it to get rid of their toe fungus. You can check it out at crystalflesh.com. Jake started off with a small spot on his big toe, and then it spread and got really bad. His toes were nasty. It was so embarrassing. He was afraid to take his socks off. He hid his yellow and crumbly toes from everyone. He tried everything to get rid of it. Nothing helped. And then we found crystalflesh.com. It was the only thing that worked. In just a few weeks, his toes looked amazing. He's now walking around barefoot again. You guys need to try this. I'm telling you, this stuff is different. It's not sold in stores, but go check it out at crystalflesh.com. They'll even let you try it risk-free, so you have nothing to lose. But whatever you do, don't let it get worse. You don't have to live with this anymore. Go check it out now. Just click over to crystalflesh.com.
Imagine the hospital experience. There's a constant parade of serious doctors, countless tests, and a serious diagnosis. Scary surgeries are followed by painful recoveries. You're in the hospital for days, weeks, months. Now imagine you're a child. This is why Starlight exists. Starlight programs help kids in the hospital cope, build resilience, bolster confidence, and change their outlook. Because happiness matters. Visit starlight.org to learn more. 75 years of research, 75 years of policy, 75 years of opportunity,
75 years of freedom.
This is 75 years of the Muscular Dystrophy Association. Join us at mda75.org.
While serving in Iraq, our vehicle was hit. They didn't think I was going to make it. I'm Latoya Lucas, and I'm a veteran. I had to learn to live with the scars, both visible and invisible.
DAV helps veterans like Latoya get the benefits they've earned. They help more than 1 million veterans every year.
My victory is overcoming my wounds so I can help other veterans.
Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
Vince Colonnese is redefining news talk with The Vince Show.
This is unheard of in media. Dan Bongino is becoming deputy director of the FBI. I'm taking over on the Dan Bongino Show, which will now be The Vince Show. Just an advanced preview. It's going to be exhilarating. It is a reflection of your response to this program that we
Vince Colonnese is redefining news talk with The Vince Show.
This is unheard of in media. Dan Bongino is becoming deputy director of the FBI. I'm taking over on the Dan Bongino Show, which will now be The Vince Show. Just an advanced preview. It's going to be exhilarating. It is a reflection of your response to this program that we get to take this thing to the next level. These gigantic shows right out the gate. This is going to be so much fun. It's unbelievable.
The Vince Show and Vince Podcast. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Hey, I'm Reba McEntire. In life, you'll hear a lot of people tell you that you can do anything you want. I'm here to tell you that's true. Since I was a little girl, I dreamed of becoming a successful singer and entertainer. It took a lot of hard work, dedication, and perseverance to find my success, but it was worth it. I never gave up on my dreams. Remember, you can never have a dream come true until you've had a dream. This message is brought to you by the U.S. Air Force.
Hi, I'm Jamie McMurray, professional race car driver here with cab driver Artie.
Professional cab driver.
Sorry, professional cab driver Artie. Drinking responsibly is knowing your limits. If you are over yours, ask Artie or someone like Artie to get you home safely. To learn more about drinking.
This is Women's Work with Nicole Khalil.
I wish you health, physical, mental, emotional, financial, social, and most definitely spiritual.
Redefining what it means to be doing women's work.
I would rather have the temporary pain of discomfort than the avoidable pain of regret. But hear me when I say this. Believe in something. Believe in yourself. That, more than anything, is absolutely woman's work.
This is Women's Work from Believe. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
WMAL's Vince Colonnese, weekdays at noon on 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
All right. My cup runneth over once again today. But let's go to the phones. Let's go to Rob, calling from Montgomery County, Maryland. Robert, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Chris, good morning. It's always a pleasure. You start my week on the right foot, not the left, the right foot.
Excellent. Excellent.
Anyway, I have a new one for you, a couple things. I'll make it as quick as I possibly can because there's a lot of nice people to call in. I live here in the People's Republic of Maryland in the county that is famous for a lot of people that kind of landed here within the last 3 or 4 years, kind of unexpectedly.
Yeah.
But beyond that, there's a lot of Teslas in this area. Tons and tons of Teslas. I see them all day long because I drive a bus.
Uh-huh.
And I'm wondering when the mayhem is going to start within all the people that live here. Because the funny thing about this county is the majority of these people that own these are on the other side of the fence. So I'm wondering when that's going to start here. I haven't heard a peep yet. The other thing I wanted to mention was this, Wes, I have to give my cousin credit for this.
Yeah, I'm running out the clock on you here. I'm sorry to say. Yeah, Wes Moore tax more.
This is the Chris Plant Show. WMAL-FM, Woodbridge, Washington, a Cumulus media station. Making sense of the news. News Talk 105.9. News now.
WMAL News at 10:30. I'm John Matthews. French courts convicted Marine Le Pen of embezzlement and barred her from seeking public office for 5 years. That ruling, a major blow to the far-right leader's presidential hopes and an earthquake for French politics. Le Pen had been one of the leading contenders to succeed President Emmanuel Macron at the end of his second and final term. Immigration remains a strength for President Trump, but a new Associated Press poll finds his handling of tariffs is getting negative feedback. The survey finds half of adults approve of border policy, but only 4 in 10 like the handling of the economy and trade. This is a massive announcement on tariffs is expected Wednesday. Our early summer preview comes to an abrupt end this afternoon, just in time for rush hour, as a cold front's expected to usher in potentially severe thunderstorms and dropping temperatures, wind chills by morning back in the 30s. Traffic and weather next.
This report is sponsored by Mothers Against Drunk Driving.
For victims of drunk and drug driving, our grief is unique, but you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
Steve Hirshhorn in the Hadid Carpet Cleaning Traffic Center.
66 westbound in the express lanes before 123. The accident there moved over to the left shoulder, so traffic is now moving again westbound on 66 in the express lane approaching Route 123. Still pretty slow, though, from the Beltway. And then the main lanes of westbound 66, all those closures have been removed as well. So it's all open both in the express lanes and the main lanes westbound on 66. The main lanes are slow from Nutley Street eastbound. Everything is also open at the scene of that incident. George Washington Parkway southbound after 123. Accident cleared. But now from GarageDoorRepair.com, the WMAL Stormwatch 5-7 forecast.
Thunderstorms and a high of 82. It is 72 at Reagan National. John Matthews, News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
Imagine the hospital experience. There's a constant parade of serious doctors, countless tests, and a serious diagnosis. Scary surgeries are followed by painful recoveries. You're in the hospital for days, weeks, months. Now imagine you're a child. This is why Starlight exists. Starlight programs help kids in the hospital cope, build resilience, bolster confidence, and change their outlook. Because happiness matters. Visit starlight.org to learn more.
Making sense of your world.
This is no conspiracy theory. This is a fact. Here it is.
Mark Levin, weekdays 6 to 9 p.m.
Listen to this, would you?
News Talk 105.9 WMAL. Making sense of the news.
Ever wonder why your business doesn't show up on online search maps, but your competitors do? It's hundreds of things. Things that Cumulus Boost can identify.
Every 15 seconds, someone is diagnosed with cancer. If it's happened to you or someone you love, the American Cancer Society can help at every step of the journey. Visit cancer.org today.
Around the clock updates and uncommon understanding.
Listen to this, because this stuff is going on behind.
Searching HVAC near here.
Right here, ma'am. How can we help?
Wow, nobody local? Huh.
Wait, what? We are an HVAC company literally in your neighborhood. Why is she not seeing us?
Just all the big chains. Well, it is what it is.
What in the... Can you not see us?
Nope, they can't see you because you're buried deep in the list of local HVAC providers. You are invisible online. Introducing Cumulus Boost. Get a boost, get found, get on the map. Learn more at cumulusboost.com.
Illuminating the issues.
There's a whole lot missing here in this story, isn't there?
Every day.
Why are we the only ones reporting this?
News Talk 105.9. Making sense of the news. For a local news source you can trust, visit WMAL.com.
Thank God for that.
Get the day's top stories. Stream your favorite WMAL shows. Access our podcast archives and more. WMAL.com. Making sense of your world online.
Today's students are tomorrow's great thinkers and innovators. But right now, millions of kids don't have the supplies they need. Donor Shoes is a nonprofit that lets you support students and teachers in your community and beyond. Learn more at donorshoes.org.
WMAL, making sense of education, because what's happening in your kid's school matters. Download the WMAL app to stream us for free.
Man, oh man. Our Democrat Party. Who's a bigger threat? Iran or the Democrat Party? There's, where's this professor from? Yale. He's a Yale professor. You know, Yale ain't what it used to be. I'm not sure it ever was. Now that we've learned so much about Yale and the poison ivies and all that. But this is great. The Mirror. That's an old newspaper. And The Guardian. That's in the United Kingdom. Yale professor who studies fascism fleeing U.S. to work in Canada, where he's going to wear an armband, I think. He studies fascism. He must be good at it, don't you think? His people are really something. They love these. They love calling everybody fascists and Nazis. Well, they literally, Roe versus Wade was overturned in the United States. And the next year, there were more than 1 million abortions in the United States, yet about 40% of the black population. every year in the womb. More parking for you and me, thanks to the Democrats. More than 1 million abortions. That was a 12-year high in abortions. They harvest the organs and use them for medical experimentation. If I remember correctly, the Nazis, Dr. Mengele, they did experiments on children and twins and babies and blue eyes. And now the Democrats, they harvest the organs of the 1 million. You think the Nazis ever killed 1 million babies in a single year? Babies, just babies. Certainly more than 1 million people. The Socialist Workers' Party, Adolf Hitler and all that. But never mind that. And isn't it the Democrat Party that is on every major college campus, especially the Ivy League campuses, demanding that the Jews get off campus and that Israel be wiped out from the river to the sea, the River Jordan to the Mediterranean Sea, most of them chanting that don't know the river or the sea. But never mind that. Yale professor who studies fascism fleeing U.S. to work in Canada. We shouldn't let him. Probably should probably throw him in a gulag. What do you think? Jason Stanley, who says grandmother fled Berlin with his father in 1939. Why didn't he stay and fight? Come on. His grandmother fled Berlin with his father. Little baby, I guess. Says U.S. may become, quote, fascist dictatorship. They're quite amazing, aren't they? Based on what? First of all, I'd like to have him on the radio show. He should call in. He really should. Jason Stanley, call in 888-630-9625. The first question will stump you right out of the gate. Define fascism. And that'll stump him because he's a Yale professor and it's his area of study, and he wouldn't be able to sum it up for you in a cogent fashion. A Yale professor who studies fascism, interesting choice in field of study, is leaving the U.S., not just Yale, but the United States, to work at a Canadian university because of the current U.S. political climate, which he worries is putting the U.S. at risk of becoming a fascist dictatorship. They just put fascist dictatorship in quotes. We must have audio of Yale threatening the Jews of the violent mobs and the Quad at Yale, terrorizing the Jewish students. And, you can't wear, we've done audio here of students at Ivy League universities in Columbia and Harvard and Yale being interviewed and saying, well, I don't dare wear a Star of David on campus. I don't dare wear a yarmulke on campus and reveal my Jewishness on campus because it's too dangerous, right? And this is the Poison Ivy League today. And this guy's leaving. Maybe he's leaving because it's not fascist enough. They haven't set up a gas chamber or something, these guys. Jason Stanley, who wrote the 2018 book, How Fascism Works, : they love their colons. The politics of us and them. And now he's leaving us and going to them, see, because he's the politics of us. And no sense of irony, these people. Biggest hypocrites in the world. Has accepted a position at the University of Toronto's Munk School of Global Affairs and Public Policy. Do they pay as much as Yale? I wonder, because now they can say, hey, we got this Yale professor. He fled the United States because they're almost securing their borders. Stanley told it again on the, we're starting the Rachel Morin trial, the murder of the mother of 5 in Maryland by an illegal alien, thanks to the Democratic Party, who opened our borders and waved in gangs from all over the world. Stanley, the professor, told Daily News, a philosophy profession website, naturally, that he made the decision to raise my kids. His recent actions at Columbia University moved him to accept the offer. He was moved. Last Friday, Columbia gave in to the Trump administration by agreeing to a series of demands in order to restore $400 million in federal funding. These changes include crackdowns on protests. There wasn't a crackdown on protests. That's not. The anti-Semitism on campus is huge. One requirement was that the protests, they have to stop wearing masks, which are not because Wuhan death out of communist China, but because they're concealing their identities from law enforcement, knowing that they're going to commit crimes. And he's a pro-crime professor, it sounds like to me. So last Friday, Columbia gave in to the Trump administration series of demands to restore $400 million in federal funding. Why do we give $400 million to Columbia University? Let's start with that. You're fired. Whoever came up with that must have gone to Columbia University, and you're fired. So agreeing to a series of demands. These changes include crackdowns on protests. They don't define that in this fake article. Increasing security power. You mean putting law enforcement on campus so students feel safe when they walk across the campus of Columbia University in New York City? Is that in? And internal reviews. The only words in quotes are the words internal reviews of some academic programs like the Middle Eastern Studies Department. I mean, when they're inviting the jihadis in who are affiliated with Hamas, is that because they want to import radical Islamic jihadi terrorists in the name of liberalism, naturally, who would hang most of these people from yardarms, but never mind that. When I saw Columbia completely capitulate, well, don't take the $400 million. Not $400,000. One university, an Ivy League school that has tens of billions in endowments. And why are we giving them $400 million a year in taxpayer dollars? Why are bus drivers and nurses paying their tax dollars into a kitty that is distributed among Ivy League institutions? You have any explanation for that? I don't want to be paying my tax dollars. I don't want my tax dollars going to Columbia University or to Harvard or any place else. So Stanley said he wasn't concerned about his ability to continue his scholarship at Yale, but the broader climate against universities played a role. Now, the only reason any of this has come up is because of the genocidal Jew hatred, the anti-Semitism, which is so rampant on campuses, in particular, it would seem, Ivy League campuses. And the Democrats don't only tolerate it, they love to use the word celebrate. They celebrate the anti-Semitism. And so it's free speech. Yeah, I guess the Nazis in the 30s and 40s exercised a whole lot of free speech, didn't they? Boy, nobody had free speech like them. He's not concerned about his scholarship. He just wants the $400 million for Yale, I guess. Pretty amazing stuff. And honestly, I've got to say, ought to be gassed. See, that's a little fascist reference there, the Nazi reference and all that stuff. They're amazing, aren't they? Yes, they are. Boy, oh boy. So he wants to leave the country. You should. Because you got in Canada, hey, we sent him to Ireland with Rosie. Big, fat, loud, lesbian Rosie. Social media posts spread, noting the alarm sounded by a scholar of fascism leaving the country over its political climate. Sure. Nicole Hannah Jones, a radical left-wing extremist Jew hater. The journalist and creator of the 1619 Project, an epic lie of historic proportion. She pretends that the United States of America was not founded in 1776, but in 1619, when the first slave arrived in America. First of all, that's not when the first slave arrived in America. The Spanish arrived with the first slave in America long before 1619. But that's a lie. That's a lie. And that's not, and you guys are the party of slavery and the bullwhip and the plantation and the Confederate States of America. So Nicole Hannah Jones created the big lie, the 1619 Project, anti-American, frothy, lunatic, racist, ahistoric. wrote on social media platform Blue Sky, when scholars of authoritarianism and fascism leave U.S. universities because of the deteriorating political situation here, we should really worry. Yeah, you guys should worry. I think you're worrisome people anyway. They love to worry. They're not happy unless they're not happy. Pretty amazing stuff. So you should, and these fake academics with their 16, 19 projects and the big line, that's what they teach on college campuses. You guys, and then we give them $400 million to keep the lie going at just one Ivy League university that Barack Obama went to. He hates America. He's a racist. He thinks he can slow the rise of the oceans by sheer force of will. Isn't he amazing? The Democrat Party. Yes, sir. And yeah, the environment on universities. The reason eyebrows first were raised at what was going on in American camp. Well, first of all, you guys are racists, and you run racist institutions. You have racially segregated graduation ceremonies. You have racially segregated areas of study. You have racially segregated dormitories and housing for students. You have racially segregated graduations, right? And you discriminate against Asians because they study too much, scored too high on the test, scored too well on the test. Therefore, you have decided to discriminate against Asians by denying them slots at these Ivy League institutions because they have done too well on their own and they don't conform to and fall into the left-wing race trap that all people who are not white Anglo-Saxon Europeans are discriminated against in the United States. That's the opposite of the truth, the big lies. And then, okay, so you had all that, and DEI and hiring and promotion practices based on genitalia and melanin levels and sexual orientation. And then you discriminate against the Jews and terrorize the Jews because they were attacked by a genocidal death cult called guys decide to saddle up with Hamas and not the Israelis, who are obviously the victims in all of this. But you guys decide that the terrorists who are the real Nazis in this discussion, Hamas and the genocidal radical Islamic jihadis, they're the bad guys of the story.
Oh, these fuckers. Oh, I'm getting sick of it.
Into the bad guys, into the villains of the story. And the genocidal terrorists are the victims, and they must be supported by left-wingers in academia and beyond. That is a mental illness. And if you're looking for fascists, smell yourselves. Are you a yo-yo dieter? You know, you diet, you lose weight, and then you gain it all back again in no time at all, maybe plus a few extra pounds. And later you say, I'm going to lose it again, and you lose it again, and then you gain it back again and again. Well, breaking free of your yo-yo diet patterns is one of the main reasons that doctors created Lean. Lean from Brickhouse Nutrition is a supplement, not an injection. And you don't need a prescription from a doctor. I mean, the science behind Brickhouse Nutrition's Lean is quite impressive. It's studied natural ingredients target weight loss in 3 powerful ways. Lean helps maintain healthy blood sugar levels and helps control appetite and cravings. And it helps to burn fat by converting fat into energy. Listen, if you're tired of losing weight and gaining it back again, if you want to lose meaningful amounts of weight at a healthy pace, Lean was created for you. Let me get you started with 20% off when you enter PLANT20, PLANTE 20 at Lean. It's takelean.com, takelean.com, and the code is PLANT20 at takelean.com. These statements and products have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. It is not a substitute or alternative to care from a healthcare provider. I got to tell you, so another professor going, bye-bye, have a nice trip. I'll throw $5 in for your train fare, pal of mine. Adios.
The Bullocks, next door, real right-wingers. American flag up every day. Real fascists. Ought to be gassed.
You're listening to The Chris Plant Show. News Talk 105.9 WMAL. Making sense of the news.
NBA veteran Jim Jackson takes you on the court. You get a chance to dig into my 14-year career in the NBA, but also get the input from the people that will be joining. Charles Barkley. I'm excited to be on your podcast, man. It's an honor. Spike Lee, entrepreneur, filmmaker, Academy Award winner. Knicks fan. So, now you see, I got you. But also how sports brings life, passion, music, all of this together. The Jim Jackson Show, part of the Rich Eisen Podcast Network. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
We're the stronger than we look type. I've had type 1 diabetes since I was 2. The braver than you think type.
I have to take insulin shots every single day.
The type that will stop at nothing.
No more blood sugar tests.
Absolutely nothing.
No more complications.
Until type 1 becomes type none.
Support JDRF's life-changing research, and one day you'll say, I helped turn type 1 into type 9. Join us now at jdrf.org.
This is my new best friend, Esther. She might look like any normal playful puppy, but Esther's being raised to become a canine companions for independence assistance dog for a person with a disability. To get there, she needs lots of loving care and attention, plenty of exercise, and good eating habits so that she can live a long and healthy life for her future family. Visit cci.org or call 1-800-572-BARK. Raise a puppy, change a life. You can make a world of difference in the life of a person with a disability.
Today's students are tomorrow's great thinkers and innovators. But right now, millions of kids don't have the supplies they need. Donor Shoes is a nonprofit that lets you support students and teachers in your community and beyond. Learn more at donorshoes.org.
The Sean Ryan Show presents Peak Points. Get timeless inspiration from the very best of The Sean Ryan Show.
September 11th happens. What is the first thing that went through your head? September 12th, I'm going back in the military.
Talk about being recruited by the cartel. Learning how to find a new woman.
One of the most tragic events in American firefighter history. You know what comes after.
You have this beautiful life. You have these horrible experiences, yes, but you can do something with them for the greater good.
The Sean Ryan Show Peak Points. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Don't miss the U.S. women's national team face off against Brazil in the first ever professional women's sporting event at SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles on Saturday, April 5th at 2 p.m. Pacific.
How's it going? I'm having a stroke. Are you going to shake my hand? I'm having a stroke. Wow, you're not even moving your arm. I'm having a stroke.
When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear. Look for FAST, F, face drooping, A, arm weakness, S, speech difficulty, T, time to call 911 immediately. Know the sudden signs. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
This is Women's Work with Nicole Khalil.
I wish you health, physical, mental, emotional, financial, social, and most definitely spiritual.
Redefining what it means to be doing women's work.
I would rather have the temporary pain of discomfort than the avoidable pain of regret. But hear me when I say this. Believe in something. Believe in yourself. That, more than anything, is absolutely women's work.
This is Women's Work from Believe. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Making sense of your world.
This is no conspiracy theory. This is a fact. Here it is.
Mark Levin, weekdays 6 to 9 p.m.
Listen to this, will you?
News Talk 105.9 WMAL. Making sense of the news.
Hi, I'm Jamie McMurray, professional race car driver here with cab driver Artie.
Professional cab driver.
Professional cab driver Artie. Drinking responsibly is knowing your limits. If you are over yours, ask Artie or someone like Artie to get you home safely. To learn more about drinking responsibly, go to beforeyoudrink.org.
So, you think I could take your number 26 Crown Royal race car for a spin?
Did you get out of there?
Be a champion. Drink responsibly. This message has been brought to you by the Century Council.
Making sense of your world on the go. Stream your favorite shows, get the day's top headlines, and access our podcast archives, all with the new WMAL app.
This is for you.
Get the WMAL app on Google Play or the Apple App Store and stay connected. Clarity and context for a complex world.
I'm going to be far more thorough and specific than ever before.
News Talk 105.9. Making sense of the news.
School absences are often due to the absence of necessary resources. But when Communities in Schools is present, students are connected to the support they need to show up ready to learn. Visit communitiesinschools.org. Being present matters.
WMAL, making sense of the forecast. Because you never know what Mother Nature has in store. Download the WMAL app to stream us for free.
Hi, Michael. Let's revisit the. I got to get to the White House Correspondents' Dinner too. They fired the comedian they hired, who's not funny at all, but she is an LGBTQ plus woman of color, and the president of the White House Correspondents Association is an LGBTQ man of color, and they don't care if it's funny. They just want to firebomb something. Let's go back to the telephones, Michael. Let's go to Roger, calling from beautiful Peoria, Illinois. How does it play in Peoria? Roger, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Well, you play great in Peoria, and I thank you for the opportunity to talk to you. I listen every morning. You're a great American. I wanted to mention I'm long in tooth. I'm 91 years of age, still in radio, by the way. And I remember in the 1940s when my family had a party line. A party line was 4 or 5 other families sharing the same phone line. And when Dad would pick up the phone to make a call, if someone was already on the line, he did the right thing, the honorable thing, the moral thing, and would hang up. My question is for Mr. Goldberg. He knew when he was hooked up that he should have hung up, but he didn't. And so it kind of reflects the lack of moral principles by Mr. Goldberg. I think he ought to be horsewhipped with a real horse for what he's doing. And now he's running around to all of these TV stations to be interviewed, engaging what I call journalistic masturbation.
I've got some of that coming up for you, as a matter of fact. You're right. You're 100% right, Roger. And, you know, these words that you use, the moral thing, the honorable thing, those are not in fashion.
WMAL-FM, Woodbridge, Washington, a Cumulus media station. Making sense of the news. News Talk 105.9. News now.
WMAL News at 11. Good morning, everyone. I'm John Matthews. President Trump has had it up to here with both Russia and Ukraine, the leaders of neither nation working towards ending their war.
He says both countries' leaders are not working towards peace. The president puts some blame on Russia's Vladimir Putin.
I was disappointed in a certain way. Some of the things that were said over the last day or two having to do with Zelensky, because when he considered Zelensky not credible, he's supposed to be making a deal with him.
The president, speaking aboard Air Force One, also criticized Ukraine's Volodymyr Zelensky for trying to back out of an agreement to give the U.S. access to its trove of rare earth minerals. Evan Brown, Fox News.
Elon Musk meeting with the CIA director about cutting government spending.
CIA Director John Ratcliffe invited Elon Musk to the agency's headquarters in Virginia to discuss government efficiency. Musk has met with leaders of other intelligence agencies, including the National Security Agency, to talk about a potential overhaul and reforms. Musk says he believes as much as $1 trillion in government spending can be saved. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
The trial of an illegal immigrant accused in the murder of a Maryland woman, Rachel Morin, that drew national attention, gets underway this week.
The brutal killing of the Maryland mother of 5 along the popular trail up in Harford County became part of President Trump's campaign speech.
In her neighborhood, she was brutally raped and murdered by an illegal alien.
While Rachel Morin's mother, Patty, wanted the focus to remain on her daughter.
It kind of devalues the life of the person.
Illegal immigrant Victor Martinez Hernandez from El Salvador was arrested last June in a bar in Tulsa after a 10-month nationwide manhunt. Barbara Britt, WMAL and WMAL.com.
The two astronauts who recently returned home after their unscheduled 9-month stay on the International Space Station are now talking about their trip. Sunny Williams tells Fox News how she reacted to learning her 8-day mission was being extended.
I'll tell you, deep inside, I was a little excited because I love living in space. I love everything about it up there. I love seeing how the space station had changed since I was there last. It's rocking. It's moving. There's so many science experiments that are going on up there.
Williams and fellow astronaut Butch Wilmore say they were well trained for their time in space. We can now put a final period on the case involving Josh Reeby, the last person seen with missing Loudoun County College student Sadiqa Kananki.
The judge in the Dominican Republic has officially closed the case. Reeby was detained for nearly 2 weeks for questioning, but was never charged with a crime. According to testimony, Reeby and Kananki were drinking on the beach March 6th before she disappeared. Authorities believe that she may have drowned. After weeks of searching, Kananki's parents asked Dominican authorities to declare their daughter legally dead on March 17th.
7 News' Melanie Hastings. Watch out for big storms this afternoon as a cold front moves through.
Beneficial rain chances. We could see a half to upwards of an inch of rain in any storms that develop, but keep in mind this could be impacting your evening commute. We'll see rain chances end before midnight with wind chills in the 30s this time tomorrow.
7 News meteorologist Eileen Whalen. The Dow's up 37 points, NASDAQ down 300. Traffic and weather next.
Illuminating the issues.
There's a whole lot missing here in this story, isn't there?
Every day.
Why are we the only ones reporting this?
News Talk 105.9. Making sense of the news.
If you've never had a chip cooked in beef tallow, get ready. Masa chips are made the old school way. No seed oils, no weird ingredients, just real food, corn, sea salt, and 100% grass-fed tallow. The crunch is insane, the taste is real, and you actually feel good after eating them because staying on top of your game starts with what you put in your body. Go to masachips.com and use code MM30 for 30% off your first order. Masa Chips, real ingredients, unreal crunch.
Hey, y'all. As a growing family, my husband and I love game night, especially when it's Wayfair edition.
Let's do it. You got to name as many Wayfair furniture and decor categories as you can. Ready? Go.
Sofas, bar stools, beds, ottomans, outdoor seating, bookshelves, kitchen tables, garden sheds, mid-century modern lamps.
Time. Nice. You got 9 out of a lot. Not too bad. Keep practicing by visiting wayfair.com, where you can shop every style for every home.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Running a business? You know that slow phone systems and missed messages cost you opportunities. OpenPhone is the #1 business phone system that streamlines communication, helps teams collaborate seamlessly, and respond to customers faster. Join over 50,000 businesses already using OpenPhone and get 20% off your first 6 months at openphone.com/radio. They'll even port your existing numbers from another service for free. openphone.com/radio for 20% off. OpenPhone. No missed calls. No missed customers.
Hey, if you have ugly yellow toe fungus, you got to hear about the secret 2-minute trick that I found for my husband. It works from both the inside and the outside. Thousands of people are using it to get rid of their toe fungus. You can check it out at crystalflesh.com. Jake started off with a small spot on his big toe, and then it spread and got really bad. His toes were nasty. It was so embarrassing. He was afraid to take his socks off. He hid his yellow and crumbly toes from everyone. He tried everything to get rid of it. Nothing helped. And then we found crystalflesh.com. It was the only thing that worked. In just a few weeks, his toes looked amazing. He's now walking around barefoot again. You guys need to try this. I'm telling you, this stuff is different. It's not sold in stores, but go check it out at crystalflesh.com. They'll even let you try it risk-free, so you have nothing to lose. But whatever you do, don't let it get worse. You don't have to live with this anymore. Go check it out now. Just click over to crystalflesh.com.
66 eastbound, so pretty slow from 28 Centerville to the accident that was just east of the Fairfax County Parkway, now completely cleared away. On the Fairfax County Parkway, southbound in delays from Braddock Road down to Pope's Head Road, where the right lane is blocked for midday construction. Interloop northbound 495 in delays leaving Tyson's from 123 up to the construction north of the toll road in the right lane. Other direction, outer loop southbound, be slow as you cross the Legion Bridge down toward the toll road where the right lane is blocked with roadwork. Now from GarageDoorRepair.com, the WMAL Stormwatch 7 forecast.
Showers and thunderstorms will develop. Some may be on the strong to severe side. Temperatures in the upper 70s to lower 80s. Storms will end later this evening with clearing skies overnight. Tomorrow, sunshine and cooler near 60. I'm 7 News meteorologist Steve Rudin, the First Alert Weather Center.
73 in Washington, John Matthews, WMAL News.
Now on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app. Chris Plant.
Isn't it shocking how much violence and hatred is coming from the left? I mean, isn't it supposed to be the party that they claim to be the party of empathy? And yet they're burning Teslas and shooting up dealerships and calling for the death of the president and me. I totally understand if somebody doesn't want to buy a product. Yeah, it's up to you. It's a free country, you know, but you don't have to burn it down.
Yes, and after they burn it down and drive all the Jews out, then they call you a Nazi. That's the part that makes me laugh. They're funny. Have you seen this morbidly obese man in Texas crash somebody's four-wheel drive vehicle into a nice lady's Tesla vehicle in Texarkana, Texas? And this guy, the police arrested him. I think they must have brought a forklift. According to the Breitbart News Agency, he called a lift car, but he meant forklift. He had to call. Wait a minute. That won't work. Can't call Uber, can't call Lyft, got to call forklift. He was arrested, and the local station down in Texas says that he's 5'2", 449 pounds. 440, and you can round 450. You put shoes on, you're 450 pounds at 5'2". That's not the healthiest physical configuration, I think. Yeah, but the guy, and who knows if it's his four-wheel drive vehicle or not. There he is with his orange jumpsuit on and in custody. Looks perfectly relaxed. An obese man was arrested after allegedly using his ATV, allegedly, it's right here on video, to deliberately ram into multiple parked Tesla vehicles in an unprovoked hit-and-run rampage in Texarkana, Texas. KTBS reports that it's difficult to say. It's Demarkian Marquise with a Z, Demarkian Marquise Cox, not words known in the English language or Western civilization. 33 years old, was taken into custody by the Texarkana Police Department, doing great work in Texarkana, after one of his alleged attacks was captured on video for the very Tesla. He intentionally, and it's because these Teslas have cameras in them. Apparently, I didn't know this until a couple of weeks ago, with the Democrats attacking everybody and violent criminals that they all are. But they all have cameras in them, and they all make video like police dashboard cams, or a lot of taxi cab drivers and Tesla drivers in Washington have cameras on their dashboards now, too, because of the patriarchy and white guys. You know, you can put these cameras very inexpensively on your dashboard in your car and videotape everything. You're welcome, honestly. Cars, electricity, cameras, food, space travel, instantaneous global communication, heart surgery. You're welcome. Never mind. So they're captured on video by the very Tesla that he intentionally crashed into. The incident occurred while the electric vehicle's owner, who seemed to be a very nice lady, and she's an African-American. He's a black guy, and she's an African-American woman driving the fancy Tesla and everything. And the nice lady, whose name is Verita Karstofin, she has her Tesla, and she parked it, and this 500-pound black guy on a four-wheel drive, one of these things with like motorcycle handlebars and four big knobby wheels that you can ride through mud and stuff. And he's crashing into people's Teslas because, why, Michael? Because the Democratic Party inspired him to become an idiot, violent criminal and to risk his own morbidly obese life crashing into other people's Teslas on a four-wheel drive that I'm guessing might not be his.
It's hurting more of the innocent victims than it is the people that they're trying to hurt.
That's Verita Karstofin. And she seems honestly like a perfectly nice person, and she's minding her own business and working hard and got an expensive car, and she looks great. And then a 5'2", 449-pound guy with a ridiculous name is crashing into her vehicle.
Every day, every second that I have to get in my vehicle, I do worry. And I do worry if I'm going to be in it when they decide to hurt.
Yeah, and I'm worried. She's worried every single day. And she's worried whether she's going to be attacked while she's in her car. And that's because the Democrat Party has turned millions of insane, violent people loose on the United States of America, including Demarcayun Marquise Cox, 33 years old, and among his other stats, 449 pounds at 5'2". That's really all you need to know about him. Pretty remarkable times we are living in. There's war around the world. Europe, the Middle East didn't exist until Joe Biden came in. Over 200 Tesla takedown protests take place throughout U.S. on Global Day of Action against Elon Musk's role with Doge. Because that's the Department of Government Efficiency. I think the results are in. The Democratic Party does not support government efficiency. They will start a civil war to prevent anything resembling government efficiency. Very much against it. And Inside EVs is a publication on Al Gore's amazing internet. Peace be upon him. The headline is The Pragmatic and Moral Case to Sell Your Tesla. Well, the pragmatic part is the Democrats may kill you for driving it because of their mental illness. Just amazing. And Victoria Scott, writing in the publication online, when I tell strangers my job is to review cars for a living, the most common response is, what do you think of Tesla? Well, for over a decade, Tesla has been the strange and novel outsider that caught the attention of the non-automotive world where legacy automakers were staid and dull. Tesla was tech first and exciting. Its EVs set the bar during the 2010s for all other automakers, both in function and in screen first form, because that's the thing. As CEO and largest single shareholder, Elon Musk and his Doge project have moved forwards. I think she means forward, not forwards. And Doge, again, is the Department of Government Efficiency, becoming a de facto fourth branch of the right-wing Trump administration. Well, no, that's completely false. You're wrong again, dim-witted woman. Sure. However, enthusiasm has cooled dramatically. Protests at Tesla dealerships, that means firebombing and shooting them up with rifles, have cropped up across America. Actually, they've been orchestrated and organized by more than a dozen national organizations that are being funded by big-time left-wing, that is to say, Democrat Party donors. the likes of which would include George Soros and his son Alex Soros, who is currently boinking Humma Wiener of the Wiener Empire. So secondary market values have cratered. Calls to trade in Teslas have mounted. I trade them in, but not for other Teslas. It's time for me to definitively answer all those strangers' questions about Tesla. I don't think they're a good buy. Well, that's because it's like driving a Jewish car in Nazi Germany, and you guys are the Nazis, just by the way. And I think there's a strong case to sell one if you own one right now. And then she goes on, the case against a new Tesla. These people are really, they are so close to being fascists that they you ask them what a fascist is. It's a difficult word to define. And dictionaries have a difficult time defining, but this is it. And again, in Massachusetts, a guy who drove his Tesla to the Tesla protest at the Tesla high-speed charger talks about how he's spit on constantly and has things thrown at his Tesla constantly. And he's a liberal who wanted to save the world. And now he's living in terror because the terrorist left, the most prolific mass murderers in the history of the world, are terrorizing him. Isn't that amazing? Yes, it is. Man, oh man, I'm telling you. So we played Elon Musk a minute ago talking about the violence of the left directed at him and the murder threats on his life, the assassination threats on his life. President Trump was shot and winged at a Trump rally by a suicide attacker who was taken out, one shot, one kill by a U.S. Secret Service counter sniper in Butler, Pennsylvania. Let's not forget Congressman Steve Scalise being shot by a Bernie Sanders campaign volunteer and nearly assassinated on a baseball field in Alexandria, Virginia, where James Hodgkinson, the Bernie Sanders booster and supporter and campaign volunteer, wanted to murder the entire baseball field. Elon Musk was in Green Bay, Wisconsin over the weekend, and he's there because he's trying to help out with an election there taking place tomorrow in Wisconsin involving the Supreme Court, where they have 7 members of the Wisconsin Supreme Court. Right now, 4 of them, and they elect them. They're all elected. And 4 of them right now are left-wing, radical, Jew-hating liberals, presumably. I presume the Jew hate because they all do now, right? They all think the same thing about everything. So 4 members of the Supreme Court are liberals, and 3 are sane people. But one of the liberals has announced that she's leaving, maybe for a sex change operation or something. I'm not sure why she's leaving. But Elon Musk was in Wisconsin over the weekend, and one of the things he did that really upset the Democrats, they tried to stop him in court because everything must be stopped in court. They tried to find an Obama appointee fascist or something to another liberal in Wisconsin to stop Elon Musk, who went to Green Bay, Wisconsin over the weekend and had a big rally, and everybody showed because he's Elon Musk and he's amazing and all Democrats are maroons. We've got the Democrat leader of the House, too, Hakeem Jeffries, on this. But the left-wing radicals at The New Yorker, why is Elon Musk trying to buy a Wisconsin Supreme Court seat? That's George Soros's job. Tuesday's election in the state of Wisconsin as the only statewide race in the country before November is a crucial test for the growing backlash against the Trump administration's agenda. Stop firebombing everything, you bunch of fascist Nazis. And one of the things he did, now there's a Republican there, Brad Schimmel. He's a Wisconsin Circuit Court judge, and he's running for the open seat on the Wisconsin Supreme Court. But Elon Musk flew to Wisconsin, and he held an event there, and great stuff. Now, they're very angry because Judge Schimmel, Brad Schimmel, actually attended the Trump inauguration in Washington, D.C., and that makes them very angry, right? But we've got more on this coming up because these guys now, and then they've got a radical left-wing extremist that they're planning on putting on the Supreme Court, and they say it's because they have to gerrymander the congressional districts in Wisconsin to steal the House of Representatives so they can destroy America, bankrupt us, and hand the world over to the jihadis and the real totalitarians. The left is here, ladies and gentlemen. They're not liberals. You know that the all-new third-generation Eden Pure Thunderstorm air purifier has finally arrived, and the third generation builds on the incredible success of previous generations, and those earned thousands of five-star reviews on Al Gore's amazing internet, quickly became a bestseller. The new Thunderstorm uses two different technologies that studies have shown help to kill up to 99.9% of bacteria and viruses floating in the air that you might breathe. Also removes dust and pet dander and smoke and a whole lot more from the air that you breathe. Helps get rid of any odor at the same time with no filters to have to buy and replace over and over again. You can hold one in your hand. They're only this big. The Thunderstorm will help get rid of any stinky smell, guaranteed. Litter box, trash cans, cigarette smoke, dirty diapers, left-wing protesters are no match for the Eden Pure Thunderstorm. Right now, you can save $200 on an Eden Pure Thunderstorm 3-pack for a whole home protection. You can put one in your basement, your teenager's room, the bedroom, the family, any place you like to breathe clean, fresh air. All you have to do is go to EdenPureDeals.com. EdenPureDeals.com. Use the code CHRIS3, CHRIS, the number 3, to save $200 American dollars on 3 Thunderstorms. That's EdenPureDeals.com. The discount code is CHRIS3. Yes, sir. Yeah, I've got more on this. The Supreme Court and 2 House races in Florida coming up. The Democrats are planning on stealing everything.
There's only one Chris Plant. The Chris Plant Show. News Talk 105.9 WMAL. Making sense of the news.
Hey y'all, it's Caitlin and Kane Brown here with Wayfair. As a growing family, one of our favorite things is Game Night Wayfair Edition.
Let's do it. You got to name as many Wayfair furniture and decor categories as you can. Ready? Go.
Sofas, bar stools, beds, ottomans, outdoor seating, bookshelves, kitchen tables, garden sheds, mid-century modern lamps.
Time. Nice. You got 9 out of a lot. Not too bad. Keep practicing by visiting Wayfair.com, where you can shop every style for every home.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
If you've never had a chip cooked in beef tallow, get ready. Masa chips are made the old school way. No seed oils, no weird ingredients, just real food, corn, sea salt, and 100% grass-fed tallow. The crunch is insane, the taste is real, and you actually feel good after eating them, because staying on top of your game starts with what you put in your body. Go to MasaChips.com and use code MM30 for 30% off your first order. Masa Chips. Real ingredients, unreal crunch.
Want to get some good discounted food and dining options, reliable roadside assistance, preferred credit card offers, or fraud protection? You need to check out AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens. No matter what your age is, you can take advantage of the services they provide for either yourself or your family, and have confidence that their partners stand behind the vision our nation's founders had to enrich the lives of all Americans through goods and services offered by like-minded companies. But joining AMAC isn't just about the benefits. It's about belonging to a community that stands for timeless American values. Regardless of your age, you can enroll in a 5-year AMAC membership for 47% off. Visit amac.us/SRS today to take advantage of this special offer. AMAC's membership is made up of Americans who believe in faith, family, and freedom. We're over 2 million members strong and growing. Their mission is simple: protect the interests of all freedom-loving Americans and offer incredible member benefits. From exclusive discounts on travel insurance and everyday services to supporting strong representation in Washington, D.C., AMAC's here to make a difference in your life and our nation. Visit amac.us/SRS today to join millions of Americans who believe in backing their mission. That's amac.us/SRS. Join AMAC and become a part of a movement that stands for you, your family, and your future.
This is my new best friend, Esther. She might look like any normal, playful puppy, but Esther's being raised to become a canine companions for independence assistance dog for a person with a disability. To get there, she needs lots of love and care and attention, plenty of exercise, and good eating habits so that she can live a long and healthy life for her future family. Visit cci.org or call 1-800-572-BARK. Raise a puppy, change a life. You can make a world of difference in the life of a person with a disability.
NBA veteran Jim Jackson takes you on the court.
Get a chance to dig into my 14-year career in the NBA, but also get the input from the people that will be joining. Charles Barkley.
I'm excited to be on your podcast, man. It's an honor.
Spike Lee, entrepreneur, filmmaker, Academy Award winner.
Knicks fans.
Now, you see, I got you. But also how sports brings life, passion, music, all of this together.
The Jim Jackson Show, part of the Rich Eisen Podcast Network. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
School absences are often due to the absence of necessary resources. But when Communities in Schools is present, students are connected to the support they need to show up ready to learn. Visit communitiesinschools.org. Being present matters.
Every time I feel my baby kick, I sing. You don't understand. I never sing. I'm not good at singing. I'm the only person I know who's been booed off a karaoke stage. But that was before I was pregnant. Today, I'm a singer. With a captive audience of one. She doesn't boo me. She never will. We know how it feels. We're the March of Dimes. Find out how we can help you have a healthier baby at marchofdimesbaby.org.
Illuminating the issues.
There's a whole lot missing here in this story, isn't there?
Every day.
Why are we the only ones reporting this?
News Talk 105.9. Making sense of the news.
Tuesday, we've got Congressman Jim Jordan joining us. Plus, we'll talk about the big special election in Wisconsin. O'Connor and Company, 5 to 9 a.m. on WMAL.
Let's go to the telephones. Let us go to Lynn, calling from beautiful North Carolina. Lynn, you're on the Chris Platt Show.
Hello, Chris.
Hello,
I'm
Lynn.
a first-time caller.
Thank God you're here.
But I have been listening. I've been down here in North Carolina for 5 years, lived in Virginia for 10 plus years, and listened to you and the rest of the great group from WMAL the whole time.
Wonderful. Then you're a very well-informed person with an excellent sense of humor.
I was going to say at least the first part of that is so true because I'm amazed at their audience. Because I think they're brilliant, but the Dems think that they're brilliant also. But I'm a little bit confused, Chris.
Uh-huh.
Because when it comes to owning a Tesla, and then I'm going to sell my Tesla, and am I going to maybe put a scratch on it before I give it to them? Am I going to dox who I sell it to so people can go and harass them and damage the car after I've sold it to them? If they were so brilliant on this strategy, why are they not just destroying their cars and walking away?
Well, that's a fair question. They should firebomb their own cars and turn it into smoke and put it into the upper atmosphere to pollute the planet. Because now that's the politically correct thing to do if you're a lefty, right?
Exactly. So why are they not putting their money where their mouth is?
Well, as you know, Lynn, were it not for double standards, liberals would have no standards at all. And if it weren't for hypocrisy, honestly, they've got mental issues, Lynn. They've got a lot of mental issues. They don't know what gender they are anymore. Got a Supreme Court justice who's a woman that doesn't know what women are. And they should burn their own cars.
This is the Chris Platt Show. WMAL-FM, Woodbridge, Washington, a Cumulus media station. Making sense of the news. News Talk 105.9. News now.
WMAL News at 11:30. I'm Heather Curtis. New this hour, the NTSB saying today that it's launched an investigation after another potential collision at Reagan National Friday. A Delta passenger flight was preparing to take off as military jets were coming in for a flyover of Arlington National Cemetery. Both aircraft were told to divert to prevent a potential collision, according to the FAA. The Maryland Senate will be debating its budget bill today after the House passed its version last week. At this point, both include a 3% tax on IT services, but the Senate has yet to decide which services. Two new tax brackets for high-income earners and an increase in vehicle emission testing fees, it all to help close a $3 billion deficit. Up next, traffic and weather.
This report is sponsored by Dairy Queen. When you hear that a small blizzard treat is just 85 cents in the DQ app, you might just feel like you're dreaming. You're not. Hurry to DQ and get your small blizzard treat for just 85 cents with a $1 purchase when you sign up for DQ Rewards. Participation may vary. Terms apply.
Here's Steve Hirshorn in the Hadid Carpet Cleaning Traffic Center.
Eastbound 66 after the Fairfax County Parkway, the accident's gone. Still pretty slow though after that from the Fairfax County Parkway to 123. On the Fairfax County Parkway southbound near Pope's Head Road, the construction blocks the right lane and delays down from Braddock Road. I-95 northbound, expect to find it slow from Lorton up to the Fairfax County Parkway southbound. On I-95 in delays from the Prince William Parkway to some road work that's in the right transition lane just before 234 Dumfries. Now from GarageDoorRepair.com, the WMAL Stormwatch 7 forecast.
Today, scattered showers and thunderstorms this afternoon. Highs in lower 80s. Right now, 74 degrees in Washington. I'm Heather Curtis on News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
Hi, I'm Jamie McMurray, professional race car driver here with cab driver Artie.
Professional cab driver.
Professional cab driver Artie. Drinking responsibly is knowing your limits. If you are over yours, ask Artie or someone like Artie to get you home safely. To learn more about drinking responsibly, go to beforeyoudrink.org.
So, you think I could take your number 26 Crown Royal race car for a spin?
Did you get out of there?
Be a champion. Drink responsibly. This message has been brought to you by the Century Council.
What would you give for a child you loved? To make their wish come true? To help them fight a critical illness? Just imagine what you'd do. You see, wishes are so powerful, and you can make them real. You can give a child back their childhood, even change the way they feel. Every single one of us can make the stars align. Because when we come together, hope and joy will shine. Wishes need stars like you. Visit Make-A-Wish at wish.org.
A better life with Dr. Sanjay Gupta. Our phones have a habit of following us everywhere we go, even to the bathroom. But here's something to be mindful of. Prolonged sitting on the toilet, more than about 10 minutes, that can have a negative impact on your health. Specifically, it can be linked to an increased risk of hemorrhoids and weakened pelvic muscles. So when you go to the bathroom, try not to take any phones or books or magazines. Make the time as short and boring as possible. Now, if you are having trouble with your BMs, as we doctors like to call them, you might not be eating enough fiber or drinking enough water. And if you're still having a hard time, it could be an early sign that something more serious is going on. If it's been more than a few weeks that we're talking about here, at that point you should consider asking your doctor for a referral specifically to a gastroenterologist. Tip, try not to take your phone into the bathroom. I'm Dr. Sanjay Gupta, helping you live a better life. Happy kids heal faster. That's why Starlight Children's Foundation delivers happiness through gaming, toy deliveries, and more to hospitals across the country. Learn more at starlight.org.
This is Women's Work with Nicole Khalil.
I wish you health, physical, mental, emotional, financial, social, and most definitely spiritual.
Redefining what it means to be doing women's work.
I would rather have the temporary pain of discomfort than the avoidable pain of regret. But hear me when I say this. Believe in something. Believe in yourself. That, more than anything, is absolutely women's work.
This is Women's Work from Believe. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Making sense of your world.
This is no conspiracy theory. This is a fact. Here it is.
Mark Levin, weekdays 6 to 9 p.m.
Listen to this, would you?
News Talk 105.9 WMAL. Making sense of the news. Your phone has a lot of apps, but how many of them help you make sense of your world? The new WMAL app gives you the latest headlines, perspective from the voices you trust, and weather info to keep you in the know, all without having to remember yet another password.
Yeah, I'm all right with that.
Stream your favorite shows, get the day's top headlines, and access our podcast archives, all with the new WMAL app.
Thank you.
Get the WMAL app today on Google Play or the Apple App Store, and stay connected. News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
So in Wisconsin, the Democrats, they've got a scheme, they've got a plan. They want the state Supreme Court. They already have it, which is why the state's so gerrymandered now, just as Hakeem Jeffries had menacingly declared these people. Yes, but there's an American, Brad Schimmel. He's already a circuit court judge, and he's running for the open seat, one of 7 seats on the Wisconsin Supreme Court. Yeah. But Brad Schimmel is the guy. Vote for Brad Schimmel. The communists will kill your children. Who was it? Who was the president? Michael Beschloss, right? Presidential historian who said Republicans won the midterms. They'd kill your children. Jail them or kill them. It was on MSDNC. Pretty amazing stuff. Let's get back to Elon Musk in Wisconsin, who's out there. And one of the things he did is he put up a prize because he has a lot of money. He put up a prize of $1 million. And he gave away he's giving away, I'm not sure if he already gave it away, $1 million prizes to people in Wisconsin. And this has the Democrats very upset too, and they tried to stop him in court because they're very angry all the time. And they're filled with hate. And that's why I have these signs say, I hate Elon Musk. New York Times very angry. Musk gives $1 million checks to voters amid Wisconsin court race. There's a court race, and Wisconsin appeals court won't stop Musk's $1 million payments to voters. Sure. After Attorney General sues. They have a Democrat Attorney General. Probably wears an armband. Wants to annex Poland, there. So Wisconsin appellate court denied the state Democratic Attorney General's request to stop billionaire Elon Musk from handing over $1 million checks to 2 voters at a rally planned for Sunday, just 2 days before a closely contested Supreme Court election. The denial Saturday by the Wisconsin Court of Appeals is the latest twist in Musk's deep involvement in the race, which has set a record for spending in a judicial election and has become a litmus test for the opening months of President Trump's presidency. Okay. All right, if that's what you say. Now, here's the thing. Millions and millions of dollars have come in from outside of Wisconsin. And for the Democrats, because they already have the 4-3 majority on the 7-person court, but they really want to keep this court because they said they're going to gerrymander the state and they're going to steal congressional seats. So the Waukesha County Judge Brad Schimmel is the sane person, and then the Democrats are behind a woman named Judge Susan Crawford. And she'd kill your children with ball-peen hammers and meat tenderizers and then cook them if they're very small in a microwave oven. This is the kind of stuff that everybody says now. This is politics, right? Isn't that amazing? Attorney General Josh Call, Democrat hack, filed the lawsuit. AP fails to mention that here. Filed the lawsuit Friday, arguing that Musk's offer violates the law. Really, he was giving away a free hat, violate the law, because Call on Saturday later appealed to the State Court of Appeals after the county court judge refused earlier in the day to hear the request for an emergency injunction to block the payments. So he's like, hey, participating in the election? 2 lucky people get $1 million each. It's not buying their votes. The Democrats are doing that. Amazing stuff. But Elon Musk was in Green Bay and had a big rally. For part of it, he wore a big cheese head, the cheese wedge, like the Swiss cheese triangle hat that Green Bay Packers fans wear and stuff, the cheese head hat. And the richest man in the world wore the cheese head wedge hat for a period of time. And then he took it off because it's kind of awkward.
What's happening on Tuesday is a vote for which party controls the U.S. House of Representatives. That is why it is so significant. And whichever party controls the House it to a significant degree controls the country, which then steers the course of Western civilization. So it's like, I feel like this is one of those things that may not seem that it's going to affect the entire destiny of humanity, but I think it will.
And he's not exaggerating. The left is here to destroy the United States of America. And when the left, the Soviet Union had their eyes on the U.S. generations ago, decades ago, because we, the United States of America, have long generations now, 80 years, the Pax Americana in 1945, based on the Pax Romana of thousands of years ago, the Roman peace. The American peace came at the end of World War II when we smashed the Socialist Workers' Party of Adolf Hitler and then held the Socialist Soviet Union at bay for generations, because totalitarianism is champing at the bit to take over the world. The Chinese plan on making the 21st century the Chinese century, just as the 20th century was the American century. The left is here to destroy the world, and it's not just the United States, because once we are taken down and they destroy capitalism, bankrupt us, 36 trillion in debt, you come in with the Department of Government Efficiency, and they would self-immolate and throw themselves in front of trains to stop government efficiency. Why is that? See the Cloward and Piven strategy of destroying capitalism on planet Earth by bankrupting the United States of America. The totalitarians are on the march in the 21st century, and the Democrat Party is the lead rat among them. Isn't that amazing? That's a fact. Now, Brad Schimmel is the person to vote for in the state of Wisconsin for the Supreme Court of the state of Wisconsin. And here is the person to vote for, Brad Schimmel.
I don't control any of the spending from any outside group, whether it's Elon Musk or anyone else that has an organization spending money in this race. I've run a 72 county race in Wisconsin. I've campaigned in every county for 16 months. I'm not running for anything for Elon Musk or any other person.
Now, it should be noted that for the Democrat radical, more than 70% of her money has come from out of state. For Brad Schimmel, who you just heard there, 15% of his money has come from out of state. Now, why would all these millions of dollars, tens and tens of millions of dollars, pretty amazing stuff. Democrat mega donors, including George Soros, back Crawford. He's not on our side. George Soros is not on the side of the United States. And where did his ill-gotten fortune come from? From collapsing currencies and scamming. And now the liberals currently hold the 4-3 majority on the state Supreme Court. But a retirement this year puts the majority in play. Why do the Democrats care so much about this? Well, here's why. The radical extremist anti-Semite Hakeem Jeffries, Representative Congressman Hakeem Jeffries, Democrat from Looneyland, he's the Democrat leader in the...
Fuckers.
Go ahead. That's the only way. See, it all goes to one seat on one state Supreme Court and gerrymandering. See, the Democrats are currently and have been for quite some time in charge of the state Supreme Court, so they gerrymandered in favor of the Democrats. But it's 50-50, and he wants to steal the state. So these crooks, these criminals, these third world banana republic leftists will stop at nothing for one more seat on the Wisconsin State Supreme Court, because the whole country, the Speaker of the House, control the House of Representatives, hinges on one seat in the Wisconsin State Supreme Court. And that's why George Soros, tens of millions of dollars, these people, boy, are they not on our side. And the fake media, why is Elon Musk trying to buy Wisconsin State Supreme Court? Why is George Soros, communist terrorist, trying to buy a Wisconsin State Supreme Court seat? And the New York Times, why Wisconsin Supreme Court election is all about Trump. It's because of your mental illness. That's why it's all about Trump. Speaking of which, the White House Correspondents' Dinner is an annual event in Washington, D.C., a black tie affair. I've been to maybe 15 of them or so myself. This year, the radical left-wing president of the radical left-wing White House Correspondents Association, they hired a comedian. That would be normal, to hire a comedian to do jokes at the White House Correspondents Association dinner, where the president normally attends, and they hired a woman. Now, the president of the White House Correspondents Association chooses the talent, the comedian for the dinner. The president of the White House Correspondents Association is a man of color, an African-American man, who is also LGBTQ, although I don't think he's L. He might be B, but he's G, and I don't know if he's T. Oh, he is T. Actually, there are pictures of him online in dresses, dressed like a woman, and in dresses, sitting on sprawled out, having pictures of him, the president of the White House Correspondents Association, right? Pretty amazing stuff. But hired a woman named Amber Ruffin, who is a woman of color, and she recently became LGBTQ as well. So she came out as queer. Now, she did an interview with the Daily Beast. Now, she was picked by the president, Amber Ruffin. Not funny. I watched several of her videos on YouTube yesterday. Eugene Daniels, the president of the White House Correspondents Association, wrote an email Saturday afternoon to members saying that the focus is not the politics of division, so they dropped Amber Ruffin. Now, as a gay black man, he can drop the gay black woman in the White House Correspondents Association. She is a frothy, rabid, anti-Trump extremist who's not even funny as a comedian. If she were funny, she'd be funny, but she's not. Amber Ruffin did an interview with the Daily Beast. Hey, you just got fired from your gig as the comedian at the White House Correspondents Association dinner.
Like, I'm not 100% interested in being like, ha, you're here, look at your stupid head, you're burned. I care, you're kind of a bunch of murderers. I mean, so, they were like, you need to be, equal and make sure that that you give it to both sides and blah, blah, blah. I was like, there's no way I'm going to be freaking doing that, dude. Under no circumstances.
There's no way she's going to be doing it. Under no, she was going to detonate her suicide vest at the podium and kill everyone around her at the head table. The White House Correspondents Association is canceling comedian alleged, use the word advisedly, Amber Ruffin, her planned headline performance for its annual dinner next month amid tensions between the White House Correspondents Association and President Donald Trump's administration. That's because you're radical left-wingers.
And they want that false equivalency that the media does. They want that. It feels great. It makes them feel like human beings. But They shouldn't get to feel that way because they're not.
See, they're not human beings. Typical Nazi rhetoric, typical fascist rhetoric, self-righteous, smug, LGBTQ, WOC. Jake Tapper interviewed this woman on February 2nd, pretending she was funny.
So this is why Politico's Eugene Daniels, the current president of the White House Correspondents Association, said he picked you. Quote, Amber's unique talents are the ideal fit for this current political and cultural climate. She has the ability to walk the line between blistering commentary and humor, unquote. That is quite a challenge.
Now, this guy that he was just talking about, Eugene Daniels, president of the White House Correspondents Association dinner, who chooses the comedian, he works for MSNBC. He used to work for Politico, not anymore. He's now moving over to MSNBC to host a show on MSNBC. Amber Ruffin actually has a role on CNN, as to Jake Tapper.
U.S. presidents traditionally attend this dinner. However, Donald Trump never went to it during his first term in office. Do you want him to be there this year?
No, don't nobody want to know. No one wants that. I mean, sure, it's something to do. Look, he should. He's missing out on one of the cool things about being the president of the United States. But I don't know that anyone's looking forward to being in the same room as him.
The Democrat Party gang, and I mean, fine. But do you have any straight people anymore? I mean, there are a lot of straight people out there. You're going to have to develop some kind of, Ivy League university style affirmative action program to hire a straight person every now and then. You people, you're all mentally, and I mentioned earlier, she's constantly giggling. She laughs at everything she says, yet nothing she says is funny. Amazing people. And Jake Tapper and the MSNBC guy, Daniels, who's the president of the association. This woman that practically nobody's ever heard of her unless you watch MSNBC for your comedy, which I sometimes do. And it's not intentional comedy. Our Democrat Party.
You're listening to The Chris Plant Show. News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
Bravo TV star Lala Kent holds nothing back on the Give Them Lala podcast.
It's very a lot. You want the headline. Here is my interview with Vicky Gunvalson. Who did the biggest number on you? I'm not friends with Chandler anymore, which is fine. Do you feel like you guys can repair? No. Stick to what you know.
Iconic.
Absolutely fantastic. It is like the Super Bowl every episode.
Give Them Lala.
Unhinged, but also amazing TV.
Get ready. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
We're with Bridget, whose husband won't be home for months and whose daughter is due any day. We're with all service members and their families. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today.
Making sense of your world on the go. Stream your favorite shows, get the day's top headlines, and access our podcast archives, all with the new WMAL app.
This is for you.
Get the WMAL app on Google Play or the Apple App Store and stay connected.
This is my new best friend, Esther. She might look like any normal, playful puppy, but Esther's being raised to become a canine companion for independence assistance dog for a person with a disability. To get there, she needs lots of love and care and attention, plenty of exercise, and good eating habits so that she can live a long and healthy life for her future family. Visit cci.org or call 1-800-572-BARK. Raise a puppy, change a life. You can make a world of difference in the life of a person with a disability.
Vince Colonnese is redefining news talk with The Vince Show.
This is unheard of in media. Dan Bongino is becoming deputy director of the FBI. I'm taking over on the Dan Bongino Show, which will now be The Vince Show. Just an advanced preview. It's going to be exhilarating. It is a reflection of your response to this program. Yeah, we get to take this thing to the next level. These gigantic shows right out the gate. This is going to be so much fun. It's unbelievable.
The Vince Show and Vince Podcast. Follow and listen on your favorite platform. Blowing out your birthday candles should be easy, but if you have undiagnosed COPD, you may find yourself short of breath. Early diagnosis and treatment can add years to your life. If you have symptoms like wheezing or chronic cough, talk to your doctor and visit COPDfoundation.org today.
How's it going?
I'm having a stroke.
Are you going to shake my hand?
I'm having a stroke.
Wow, you're not even moving your arm.
I'm having a stroke.
When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear. Look for FAST. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911 immediately. Know the sudden signs. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
Around-the-clock updates and uncommon understanding.
Listen to this, because this stuff is going on behind the scenes and you don't know about it.
News Talk 105.9. Making sense of the news.
We're the stronger than we look type. I've had type 1 diabetes since I was 2. The braver than you think type.
I have to take insulin shots every single day.
The type that will stop at nothing.
No more blood sugar tests.
Absolutely nothing.
No more complications.
Until type 1 becomes type none.
Support JDRF's life-changing research, and one day you'll say, I helped turn type 1 into type none. Join us now at jdrf.org.
The Sean Ryan Show presents Peak Points. Get timeless inspiration from the very best of the Sean Ryan Show.
September 11th happens. What is the first thing that went through your head? September 12th, I'm going back in the military.
Talk about being recruited by the cartel. I was learning how to find a new normal.
One of the most tragic events in American firefighter history. You know what comes after.
You have this beautiful life. You have these horrible experiences, yes, but you can do something with them for the greater good.
The Sean Ryan Show Peak Points. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
My baby brother, a father. Come on, it's time for his nap. Whoa, he can't sleep on his stomach. Babies should always sleep on their backs in a safety-approved crib, and the sleep area should be clear of blankets, toys, and other loose or soft items. It reduces the risk of SIDS. SIDS? You know, sudden infant death syndrome. Guess I need to start studying up on safe sleep for little man here. Being his favorite uncle comes with big responsibilities.
For more information, visit safetosleep.nicahd.nih.gov. Sponsored by the Eunice Kennedy Shriver National Institute of Child Health and Human Development. Bright Focus Foundation's Alzheimer's Disease Research Program is paving the way for a cure. Learn about symptoms, diagnosis, and breakthrough research at brightfocus.org or call us at 1-855-345-6237 for free resources.
WMAL, making sense of the roads, because traffic doesn't always follow the pattern. Download the WMAL app to stream us for free.
Are you a parent of a child with disabilities who desperately needs a break? Then you need to know about Jill's House. To find out more, visit our website, jillshouse.org. WMAL.
NBC Fake News, which is a front group for the Democratic Party, of course, they apparently spoke on the phone to President Trump, glutton for punishment that he is. And during the course of the conversation, they asked him, well, are you going to stay on for a third term and become a fascist dictator so all the college professors have to leave the country? And now that was on the phone, and NBC hasn't released the recording, and they've done their corrupt, quotation marks reporting on it. And President Trump on Air Force One talking to the corrupt idiot reporters again yesterday. And naturally, they hit him up with, hey, are you going to stay for a third term? Listen to it, because they're going back 1-0 about this, too.
If we're not joking about a third term, about possibly wanting a third term, does that mean you're not planning to leave office on
I'm not looking at that, but I'll tell you, I have had more people ask me to have a third term, which is, in a way, it's a fourth term, because the other election, the 2020 election was totally rigged.
Now, the first thing he said, just for the record, is, I'm not thinking about that. You guys are spreading it. But NBC News headline 24 hours ago, Trump won't rule out seeking a third term in the White House. What did he just say? He said, well, I'm not thinking about that. And that doesn't matter. Trump on Air Force One.
I'm just telling you, I have had more people say, please run again. They said, we have a long way to go before we even think about it. But I've had a lot of people. Did you have something?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, do you think that's an appropriate precedent to set, even if it wasn't you in this position, to see a president serve a third term?
I don't want to talk about a third term now, because no matter how you look at it, we got a long time to go. We have a long time. We have almost 4 years to go.
I don't want to talk about a third term now. But the headline is, Trump is not joking about third term, though Constitution says he can't. And Trump tells NBC News, there are methods for seeking a third term. And one of the things people are talking about, well, J.D. Vance could run for president. He could run as his running mate as vice president. And then there'd be a big constitutional discussion. The media would call it a crisis, but it wouldn't be. Because you have to be eligible to become president in order to be the vice president, all right? Therefore, that would likely preclude the possibility of President Trump being the VP running mate. But never mind that. The Democrats would rather firebomb your car and talk about it later.
We are one nation, under God, indivisible, together.
I'll be back later. I gotta go. In case there's anybody here.